Why didn't it go live? Oh, there it is. Good morning. I have no idea.
Great.
I have no idea what went out to the public. So, welcome, folks. Welcome back to Gaming with ADHD, where we are doing our deep dive into the Eberron campaign setting. I'm sorry that we were a few minutes late. You know how it is when you get talking with a friend and having a little bit of fun on the side. So, which that sounded even more awkward. So I'm just going to leave that one right there. Good morning, Seraphis. How you doing, buddy?
I slept terribly, and I'm probably going to trip over my own words today, even worse than normal, considering that this morning when I woke up and said hi to you and everything, apparently I couldn't even write properly. What was it? I said work instead of walk. I said I wrote the wrong Brian. My brain, man. I'd say I'm getting old, but I'm younger than most of you.
Well, you're still getting older.
Well, yeah.
You know, the kids aren't going to make you any younger. So, yeah. Yes, you're already, like I realize it's probably blonde hair, but I mean, it's going to go even whiter than it already is.
Oh, so... no. It's white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
any kind of color that you can see is either a result of sun streaking or the permanent dye that's still wearing out of my hair.
Okay. So you went gray at 22.
18.
18. But you're not bitter about it.
Right, because I pulled it off really awesomely.
That's true. If I went white, I think I'd rather just like, I mean, yeah, the salt and pepper look is kind of cool, but I think I'd rather it just go, like Silver Fox will go nuts. Anyhow. Yep. Oh man. Well, regardless, folks, I hope you are excited for this. Let's see how much do you remember from your reading? Because we're now like 2 weeks behind where I thought we were going to be, so I've just been skimming again.
I mean, there's several different feats in here that I've regularly referenced, so some of them kind of stand out in my mind quite a bit. I've gone over the action point system several times, even though I don't end up using it in the 3.5 game I'm in, because action points aren't a thing in that one. But like I've read through a decent amount, I'd say.
Okay, good. Well, folks, just to remind you, this is a live stream. So, obviously we're going to be keeping an eye on chat so that way, if you guys have any questions or you have any insights, please do make sure that you share those. Also at the end of the stream, we will be doing a giveaway for one of my painted Eberron miniatures. So I did skip my paint stream earlier on Monday. So at least I've got like 3 weeks worth of miniatures ready to give away. Anyway, so if you are a member of the channel, which if you want to sign up, it's only $2 a month. It's called a tip jar for a reason. But there's that. You'll be automatically entered, or if you're in chat, you're eligible to win just by being here. So, anyways, don't forget that'll be coming up at the end of the show. So, with all of that said, like, subscribe, do all that fun nonsense. But otherwise, what do you say, Seraphis? Should we just get into it?
Aye.
All right. So, we today are talking about heroic characteristics. Now, I did say heroic traits on the thumbnail, but that's because characteristics is too long to fit on my thumbnail.
Damn wordy words.
Exactly. So this essentially, we're going to be talking about action points, feats, skills, all sorts of new things for Eberron. The religions, the dragon marks. So be prepared for that. But otherwise, let's just get into it. So let's see. Actually, we didn't decide who wanted to start. Do you want to start with action points, or do you want me to take it?
I can start with action points.
All right. Well, then let's see. I'll read the intro paragraph then. All right. A hero in an Eberron campaign is defined by far more than race and class. Skills and feats add to a character's ability, while action points and dragon marks extend his or her capabilities to a level never before seen in the D&D game.
Yes. All right, let's get into it. Action points. Action points provide a player with the means to alter D20 rolls in dramatic situations, reflecting the luck that can change crushing failure into heroic success. Your character has a limited number of action points, and you must use them wisely since you don't replenish this supply until your character attains a new level. You can spend an action point to improve the result of an attack roll, a skill check, an ability check, a level check, or a saving throw. Certain feats and prestige class features allow you to spend action points in different ways, but this is their most basic use. When you spend an action point, you add the result of a roll of a d6 to your d20 roll to help you meet or succeed the attack number for the roll. Target number, sorry. Yeah. See, I'm already doing it. You can declare that you are spending an action point after you have already rolled the d20, but you must do so before the Dungeon Master reveals the result of your roll, whether the attack roll or check or saving throw succeeded or failed. You can't use an action point or a skill check or ability check when you are taking 10 or taking 20. So you can only...
Real quick, because I forget. Taking 10, do you still do a die roll when you take 10, or do you just add your bonus to it?
No, so it's just the bonus and 10.
Okay. For some reason, I thought you still had a roll, because, usually your target numbers are like 13, 14, 15, whatnot. So if you don't have a good enough bonus...
in low-level games.
That's true.
In epic level games, like what I'm trying to deal with, our target number can be like 32.
That's fair.
Okay. And then we've got to artificially bump up our bonus, and then 10 can actually make a giant difference.
That's fair. When I played 3.5 back in the day, I don't ever remember taking 10 or taking 20. And so I figured... For the other folks, let's clarify that a little bit.
Yeah, right. It's definitely something that happens at higher levels for most classes. Yeah.
Okay.
You can only use action points once in a round. If you spend one or more action points on a special action, you can't spend a point in the same round to improve a die roll or vice versa. No spell, power, or other special ability can allow a character to reroll an action point die. If a character suffers permanent level loss, he does not lose any action points he has remaining, and any subsequent level advancement provides new action points as normal. If your character level is 8th or higher, you can roll more than 1d6 when you spend an action point. If you do so, apply the highest result and disregard the other rolls. As a 15th level character, for example, you can roll 3d6 and take the best result of the 3. So if you rolled 1, 2, and 4, you would apply the 4 to your d20 roll.
So, and real quick, so this I would say is similar to like the Savage Worlds Wild Die. What other games do something? Well, I mean, I know D6 Star Wars did a Wild Die at one point, because I'd say this is kind of the same thing. Also, I would call it kind of a precursor to the advantage disadvantage that we have in 5th edition.
Yeah, it does have that kind of style to it. I see. I'm a little bit on the fence because, in one way, this is definitely better at
Cinematic style.
cinematic style, but also I feel like you have a better chance at getting a positive result to your role by having this kind of action economy in it over the advantage disadvantage system.
True.
But on the other hand, I know that a lot of the 5e's prefer the advantage disadvantage system, and that system has been carried, or that mechanic has been carried over into a lot of the D&D clone like games as well. So,
well, I mean, it's a really simple mechanic. I mean, I'll be honest, I love advantage disadvantage. I think it's very intuitive. It makes a lot of sense. I was trying to think of, where this would have, or where that would have evolved from, because seeing this action point kind of gives me that feel. Like, here's something you can do to get a little bit of a bonus. But it is also interesting in that you don't have to use it. You've got you've got a pool that's available throughout the level, because it's going to reset every time, which you'll get into here in a second. But it lets you decide, hey, I want a boost right now. Boom, I'm just going to toss it in.
Yeah.
So
I have a feeling it might have been inspired by Call of Cthulhu, because WotC had already done a supplement with that collaborated with Sandy Peterson and Monty Cook and was it Skip Williams? One of the other designers had already done a D20 system port of the Call of Cthulhu system, and I have a feeling I haven't looked at it in a while, but I have a feeling it had something like this in it.
I will take your word for it.
I'm just trying to rack my brain on stuff, and if I hadn't been doing crafting calculations before coming on, I probably would have my brain more in check.
Way to prioritize the stream, Seraphis.
Hey, it's still got to do with exactly what we're doing here. It's just my own personal stuff.
Man, so sensitive. All right, let's keep going.
Okay. At first level, you have 5 action points. Each time you attain a new level, you gain a fresh supply of action points equal to 5 plus half your character level, rounded down. Any action points you didn't spend at your previous level are lost. Oh, God, I hate that. I absolutely hate that mechanic. Because it's in the Artificer as well. You're muted.
Sorry. Just that mechanic of, here's a resource, but it goes away every level, and or gets reset, I should say.
Yeah. Because that, with the Artificer's crafting reserve, like if you're away and you don't have something crafting at the time, and you're there and you're at a point ready to level up, either you don't level up and you wait to spend your craft reserve, or you lose that pool of craft reserve. And right now, I'm at a point where I could lose 2,500 craft reserve that could be used for a bunch of stuff that can't be carried over to my next level.
Well, but I mean, it's like, I understand the frustration, but it is also one of those things like, okay, so for an artificer, okay, so you get a crafting reserve at every single, for every single level. Okay, just like, bam, here's some XP that you can use to craft stuff this level.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't have the mechanic of, okay, use it or lose it, then you run into the situation of, well, for my first 8 levels, I'm not going to craft anything because I'm just going to bank all of that until I can actually do something useful. So they're trying, like, I get that they're trying to make you use it. And with the action points, especially with something like this, where it is supposed to be a limited resource. It's supposed to be something where you're, yes, here's a bonus. Here's something that you get, but again, being able to bank it and save it for later. Okay, cool. I'm walking into level 5 with 30 action points. Yeah, or I'm just making up a number. Like, how is that going to unbalance the game? So I get your frustration, but I still think that it's useful to have that use it or lose it mentality.
I get that, but it feels like Eberron has a lot of that in it. And it, like, with the action point system and the artificer stuff, there is a way to kind of boost things up. And, like, even with, as you're saying, the first few levels, the thing is that, like, you immediately get Scribe Scroll, which means starting at first level, and for those first few levels, you can scribe some really good, powerful scrolls. Like, you can technically make a lesser fireball.
Sure. No, I get that. My point is just that, like, I see why they're trying to make you use, because that's the other thing. If they're not going to make you use it, well, I mean, you're an artificer, but you're not doing artificery stuff because you want to bank it until later level.
Yeah, but I don't want to bank it. I want to get the upgrade, but I'm stuck in a freaking marathon of a dungeon at the moment.
Well, that's a dungeon master issue. That's not a mechanic issue.
Well, no, if they didn't make their dungeons so long for the adventures, we would.
I'm gonna stick with that's a dungeon master issue.
Well, look, Watsy's made a lot of bad decisions, so I'm blaming them.
That is also a fair argument. Anyways, let's move on.
All right. You determine your supply of action points after all other issues related to level advancement have been resolved. In effect, this determination becomes step 10 in the process. So, references the player's handbook there. And down below, we have the character level, how many action points, what your action point maximum is per level.
Yeah, because there are some things that'll replenish it mid-leveled, aren't there? Like feats or something?
No, there's some feats that give you like 1.5 times what your normal level would be, and then like some feats that like allow you to do double the effect of a standard action point, things like that. And yeah,
got it. Okay, cool. All right, so real quick, we're going to skip over this. Basically, it's a little footnote about using action points, because when they introduced it, there were a bunch of people doing stuff, in the game. Like the one that they point out is, for example, many players roll damage at the same time as they make their attack rolls. But because of the way the action points, if you do D12 damage, well, you'd roll your D12 and your D20 at the same time. And if you successfully hit, well, you've already made the roll for your damage. Does that make sense?
No one at the table I play with does that.
It's
weird.
I don't think it's that weird. It makes sense. It's just one roll. And if you fail, then the D12 means nothing. I have broken Seraphis, everyone.
Americans.
We made the game. We're right. Anyways, but anyways, they it's just a little couple of footnotes as far as like making sure you use them appropriately. So, all right. Yeah. Again, we made them. We get to argue about them. Deal with it, Grim. All right. Here, I'll jump in and I'll take the next section.
Yep.
All right, so action points can be used for special actions. Instead of altering the result of a d20 roll, you can use action points to perform one of the special actions described below. In addition, some prestige classes and feats allow you to spend action points to gain or activate specific abilities. So, activate class feature. You can spend 2 action points to gain another use of one of the following class features that has limited number of uses per day. Bardic Music, Rage, Smite Evil, Stunning Fist, Turn or Rebuke Undead, or Wild Shape. I like that. I think that's again, they're going for that cinematic style. It's like, oh, you get to use this once per day. Oh, I can burn a couple of action points and do it again. I like that.
Now here's the part that hurts me.
What do you mean hurts you? Well, hold on. Let me read it first, and then you can describe why it hurts you. All right. On his turn, an artificer can spend 1 action point to imbue an infusion in 1 round, even if the infusion's casting time is normally longer than 1 round. How's that a bad thing?
Because we're not using action points in the 3.5 game I'm in.
Ah.
So if I need to hastily inscribe an infusion into something to like spell storing item, 1st level infusion, to use a 4th level cure wounds, that's going to take a minute. Someone might not live that long.
That's fair. Yeah. I'm going to go with Grim on this one. Again, a GM DM problem, not mechanics.
No, but it's fair. If your game isn't using the action point system, even if it is an Eberron game, that can seriously hinder how an artificer can work.
So I'll be honest, to me, this is something that I would say, I would bring it up to the GM and just say, hey, this is something that normally I would get to use. Can I take, say, half the action points normally available? Because, and it can only be used to hasten infusions. Because your game's not using action points normally, so I would say that would be a reason to not have the full amount. But then also limit it to this thing, because like you said, it does hurt the artificer when it's taken out of an Eberron game and action points aren't used.
And we're gonna get to it later too, but it also extremely hurts if my character had a dragon mark as well, because guess how dragon marks work?
With action points?
Yep.
I don't remember that. All right, we'll get into that in a minute. So I had a DM say that we could elect to take a percentage of our max damage roll to save time. Is that like when you're taking damage, Mundo, or is that when you're dealing? See, now I'm I don't think I would want to do that. Like I could understand if the thing's almost dead, but I don't think I would want to do that. All right, let's keep going. All right. Stabilize. When your character is dying, you can spend 1 action point to stabilize at your current hit point total. Spending an action point does nothing for you if you're already dead. Okay. And also, folks, you will notice over here along the side, they do have the art for all the dragon marks, but it's going to be quite a bit before we get to them. So, I'm sorry that we're not going to reference it very well as we're going through. Just be aware of that.
Dealing damage.
Yes. Yeah, see, like I could see it if the monster's almost dead, but mid game or mid battle, I wouldn't necessarily want to do it. Anyways, regardless, that's not an Eberron thing. Let's move on. All right. You're up.
All right. Non-player characters and monsters normally can't use action points and don't gain action points as they advance in level, even if they have levels in a class or a prestige class. Action points are typically the purview of player characters and are thus reserved for their use. So basically, like how Indiana Jones could use his whip to swing across a gap, but the NPCs just try to jump.
Right, exactly. That's a nice example.
However, an NPC can use action points if he or she has the heroic spirit feat, which provides characters with 3 action points to use at every level. The DM should not give an NPC this feat without careful consideration, and then only if the character is crucial to the campaign and the storyline. Perhaps only one key character should exist at every 3 to 5 levels of a campaign. And again, this is like our main villains or our sub villains in an Indiana Jones movie. What comes to mind is the Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Nazi mechanic who they're dueling around the. He definitely had some action points. That dude got beat, smacked several times, and kept getting up. He had action points.
No, exactly right, and I think I really like your examples on those, just because it does. It helps illustrate the kind of feel that they're going for. They want that cinematic action movie, type of game. And I think for 3rd edition, I think they did it really well.
Yes.
But
and failed miserably with it in 5th edition.
Spoiler alert for side quests, Seraphis. Jeez. All right. Skills. So, anything else you want to say about action points, or should we just move?
No, I want to talk about the next thing.
Okay. All right. So, a few skills have new uses and additional rules that apply to them in an Eberron campaign. Now, this is where Seraphis is going to get all nutty. So, actually, I'm you know what? I'm just going to let you drive from now for this section.
You can see exactly why, dude.
Yes.
Eberron crafting. Chapter 6. Adventuring equipment includes a number of new items that can be made using the craft alchemy skill, as well as a few special materials that are more difficult to work with than their mundane equivalents. Craft check DCs for these items are given on the table below. Several of these DCs are expressed as base plus X, which means that the DC to create an item from that substance is higher than the normal DC for creating such an item, as indicated in the player's handbook. So we've got things like the acidic fire, which is acid and fire damage vials, alchemist lightning in a bottle, alchemist frost, cold in a bottle, Beshik weapon, which is base plus 5, Beshik armor and shield, dragon shard items, which varies based on various different things, noxious smoke stick. Oh man, noxious smoke stick. Noxious smoke stick is really, really fun because it gives the cloud kill effect, but at like a reduced level. It is so much fun. I need to make it like a dozen of them when I have.
Is this like Batman smoke bombs?
Kind of, yes.
Nice.
Yes. They're awesome, and they're also kind of small enough that you could like put them into a small pocket. And like, yeah, it's amazing. I absolutely love it. And then other basic weapons, other basic items. Repair Warforged. A character with ranks in certain craft skills can attempt to repair a Warforged character who has taken damage. A check requires 8 hours and restores a number of hit points equal to the craft check result minus 15. A character can take 10 on this check, but can't take 20. Other constructs can't be repaired in this way, but a character with the craft construct feat can repair such a construct as described on page 303 of the Monster Manual. Applicable craft skills include armor smithing, blacksmithing, gem cutting, and sculpting. A Warforged with an applicable craft skill can repair itself.
Right. See, I have no problems with that. Like a Warforged artificer, sure, go ahead and repair yourself. But why is a Warforged Paladin healing itself? Anyways, I'm still angry over that.
Would it be better if they had repair damage instead of like heal damage? Would that make it better for you?
No, it's the fact that the Paladin is healing himself as opposed to another. Because a Paladin can't use lay on hands on themselves, if I remember correctly.
Do you want me to look in the player's handbook?
No, I don't, because that, like, we get distracted enough as it is. I'm just saying, like crafting, I can see a Warforged repairing itself. Lay on hands, I can't. Anyways.
Well, what if the Paladin had the craft skill of armor smithing then?
Then that's different, because then he's using the craft skill, not the lay on hand skill.
But what if he's using his lay on hands via his understanding of the craft skill?
No. Because again...
he is a living construct.
No, but lay on hands is he's calling down the divine authority to do something. And as a paladin or a cleric or a priest, you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it on behalf of your god for... somebody else. I made the argument last week, Seraphis.
We know they only did it just because there seem to be so few ways of repairing a Warforged anyway. So,
and that's actually probably true. So, all right. So, disguise. A character who uses the disguise skill to impersonate someone with a visible dragon mark takes a -10 penalty on the check because of the unique and magical nature of dragon marks. Makes sense to me.
Forgery. A character who can cast Arcane Mark can attempt to forge someone else's mark using the forgery skill while casting the spell. This special use of both spell and skills stretches. This spell use of both spell and skill stretches the casting time of the Arcane Mark spell to 10 minutes. The character makes a forgery check as normal, taking a -10 penalty to on the check.
Okay. Malachi did the work for us, and he looked in the system resource document and says a paladin can use lay on hands on himself.
Well, there
and it's still wrong.
And why can't they lay on hands themselves?
I mean, look, what you do on your own time. No. I fully admit that is my own religious bias, coming into play. But that is absolute. Like, if I ever run a D&D game, that is totally how I am. Oh,
you're gonna run a D&D game now, then? Are you?
Look, I will threaten to run all sorts of things. Don't get any wild or crazy ideas. All right. Speak language. Common languages in Eberron and their alphabets are summarized in the following table. Here, folks, I'll leave the table up for just a second. Because I'm not reading all of this. Yes, Eberron has its own languages. Ta-da, we're done. All right.
Spellcraft. A character can make a spellcraft check to identify a dragon mark and the spell-like ability it bestows on the person carrying it. The DC of the check depends on the type of mark and yada, yada, yada.
Exactly. All right. So this is going to be the long section, folks. I'm going to put up a couple of disclaimers. Unless we feel it's appropriate, we're not going to talk about the prerequisites. We're just going to talk about what the feat is and what it does. Okay? So if you want more information on the specific rules, feel free to look at the D&D 3.5 Eberron campaign setting. It's all in there.
Now, because we're going to talk about dragon marks later, let's start off by talking about a dragon mark.
So, well, no, because take that. Okay, ADHD is like firing on all cylinders right now. Okay, so all right, we'll get into it after we read about the aberrant dragon mark, but because I have thoughts on it, not the aberrant, just dragon marks in general. All right,
Yeah.
let me read the opener. All right.
All
The table on pages 48 and 49 summarizes the new feats presented in the book. Shifter feats and Warforged feats. These categories of feat are restricted to characters of a certain race. Shifter feats enhance a shifter's unique racial ability, while Warforged feats allow Warforged characters to add construct features and improve their armor. So that is one thing that is really important for people to keep in mind. There are going to be a bunch of feats that are listed that it'll say, such and such shifter feat, and it literally will only apply to like Beast Hide or Long Fang or whatever. Which is one of the reasons that I don't like how 5th edition has gone to this kind of gray goo, everybody's kind of everything, and they don't want to like have race class restrictions. It like there's going to be a lot that like if you're not playing that kind of character, you can just completely skip over. But anyways, all right, let's get into it. And I'll let Seraphis take the aberrant dragon mark.
Damn you. So, the aberrant dragon mark. Although you are not a recognized member of one of the dragon marked families, you have manifested a dragon mark. And once again, this is only applicable to dragon marked races.
Yeah, so basically none of the new ones in Eberron.
Yep. So benefit. This feat provides you with a single dragon mark spell-like ability that is not directly tied to the Trueborn dragon marked houses. All aberrant mark spell-like abilities can be used once per day. When you select this feat, you must choose an aberrant dragon mark spell-like ability from the following list. You can never improve this mark in any way, and you can never gain a second mark. A character with one of the true dragon marks, least, lesser, or greater, cannot select this feat, and a character with this feat cannot later select one of the true dragon mark feats. A saving throw against your aberrant dragon mark spell-like ability has a DC of 10 plus spell level plus your charisma modifier. Your spell level for your aberrant dragon mark spell-like ability is 1/2 your character level. Okay. Your aberrant mark powers: Burning Hands, Cause Fear, Charm Person, Chill Touch, Detect Secret Doors, Featherfall, Inflict Light Wounds, Jump, Light, Pass Without Trace, Produce Flame, Shield, Tenza's Floating Disc. Probably should have realized that was said Tenza's instead of, because it was floating disc underneath. So, although, I'll get to that later. Aberrant dragon marks are mutations that appear occasionally among the dragon marked races that can be traced back to the bloodlines of corrupted dragon marked families eliminated in the War of the Mark. At a quick glance, an aberrant mark can be mistaken for an established dragon mark, but on close inspection, its differences are readily apparent.
Okay, so all right, so real quick with dragon marks, I like how they made them as feats.
Yep.
Like, I realize the feat system can be kind of broken because of the min-maxing that goes along with it. But I think it really does work well for something like the dragon marks. Here, you want this little special ability. And so it's that's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Although one thing I do find interesting is that among the aberrant mark powers, even though these are all from essentially destroyed dragon marked families, One that is not listed is any kind of death communication.
Well, but that's because that mark still exists.
Yes. And I love that.
Well, so this does kind of, make me question, like, from a storyline perspective, were there other dragon marks? Because it just says dragon mark houses.
Yeah.
But why would see, now I'm confused. Why would they completely eliminate like marks?
Okay, so there's a bit of a story connection, and I think this is mostly explained on Keith Baker's Dragon Marked blog. But basically, in cases like burning hands, cause fear, chill touch, those are attack abilities.
Right. The aberrant ones are generally more offensive or quote unquote malicious in nature, is what I'll say.
Yes. And it basically became apparent, and there may have been some communication or coercing with dragons, that the 13 families were kind of pushed to eliminate the others because the other houses got their mark not through Eberron and Sybaris, but through Kyber.
Okay, so essentially it's the dark it's the dark side of the force.
Exactly. There's a non-0% chance that the aberrant dragon marks originate from the dark side.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is why the war happened in the first place and why they were all wiped out. However, it's interesting to note that after the War of the Mark, they also eliminated the House of Death, the Mark of Death, even though its abilities are to communicate and revive the dead.
Yeah,
it's
but
not to kill.
Yeah, but it's still death magic, which at least in D&D has always, been frowned upon.
It's still interesting.
True. No,
it's still interesting that there's only technically one person with the Mark of Death, and that it's hilarious that they are kind of neutral, and yet the cult that follows them is entirely evil. A bit of spoilers for lore, but that's hilarious, I think.
Well, and I am not opposed to spoilers for lore type stuff. I mean, as long as it doesn't take us too far off the mark. Just because, let's be honest, this is taking us a long time to get through. All right,
let's keep page 3, and it's been an hour.
I know. All right, action boost, general. You have the ability to alter your luck drastically in dire circumstances. When you spend an action point to alter the result of an attack roll, a skill check, and now I've got to go. Sorry, folks.
Ability check, a level check, or a saving throw. You can roll D8 instead of a D6 and add the result to the D20 roll.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
See? Now you're cooking with style.
I know. This is one that like me personally, I would be like, I don't see, like, if you're playing an Eberron game and you're using action points, I honestly can't think of a reason to not take this feat. Yeah. Like a D6 is a decent boost, but now I'm rolling a D8, so it's like almost half of a normal roll. Yeah.
It's 1.5 times a normal roll. So
no, when I say a normal, like a D20, so half of D20 is D10, so D8, close enough. But you're gonna add potentially another 50% to your dice roll. Yeah, that's almost broken. All right, you're up.
Action surge. By spending 2 action points, you can perform an additional action in a round. This is the one I was talking about. So it does require you to have a base attack bonus of +3 first. So it's not like you can take it straight away. You've got to wait until like level 5 or 6 or something like that. But like, yeah, that's pretty good. And the benefit, you can spend 2 action points to take an extra action or a standard action in a round, either before or after your regular action.
Yeah. I mean, since it's normally just move or like a move and a normal action, right?
So you've got in a standard action, an attack action, a move action, and a swift action.
Right.
There might be one other there. I can't remember. But then during the round, you also have... Oh, sorry, a free action. That's the other one. But then in the round, you also get one reaction as well.
Got it. Okay. All right. Adamantine body. At the cost of mobility, a Warforged character's body can be crafted with a layer of adamantine that provides formidable protective armor and some damage reduction. So it obviously can only be done by Warforged, but this is also important. First level only. Your armor bonus is increased to +8, and you gain damage reduction to adamantine. However, your base land speed is reduced to 20 feet, and you are considered to be wearing heavy armor. You have a +1 maximum dexterity bonus to armor class and a -5 penalty on all skill checks that armor check penalties apply to, and an arcane spell failure chance of 35%. Without this feat, your Warforged character has an armor bonus of +2. Why would they add this?
To remind you that normally your Warforged character only has a +2 natural armor bonus.
That's fair. I just think it's funny. You've already gone through the character creation side, so you should already know that about your Warforged.
Yeah. I guess they're probably also thinking of it in the terms of, like, the new players looking at the setting. These are new, like
that's true.
Warforged is a new race,
They probably don't have it memorized, so.
Yeah.
All right. Unlike most feats, this feat must be taken at first level during character creation. Warforged druids who take this feat cannot cast druid spells or use any of the druid's supernatural or spell-like class features. Warforged characters with this feat do not gain the benefit of any class feature prohibited to characters wearing heavy armor. So, kind of important.
Yes. But just wait till you get to Races of Eberron, and my God. It puts it. Look, you can take the prestige class of Warforged Juggernaut, or you can take some of the racial feats in Races of Eberron for the Warforged, and you can just be a Warforged Juggernaut without the prestige class. Just be a fighter and just boom. What? No. Yeah. You go from hitting a hard place to being the hard place.
Right.
Ashbound General. You have been trained in the druidic traditions of the Ashbound, seeing yourself as one of nature's avengers. You consider the use of arcane magic to be vile and unnatural, and an unnatural act. Benefit. The duration of your summon nature's ally spells is doubled. Creatures summoned by those spells receive a +3 luck bonus on their attack rolls.
Okay. I was about to say, you consider magic to be violent and unnatural. You summon nature's ally spells, and then I realized, oh wait, that's a divine spell, not an arcane. So
yes. Basically, if you once we get to it anyway, among the Ashbound druids, basically you have to kind of forsake any spells that are considered arcane spells. You can only use the divine ones. So it's an interesting form of play, I have to admit.
Sure. All right. Do you want to take this one?
Oh, all right.
You don't have to. I'll take it.
Attune magic weapon item creation. Through your study of magic weapons, you have become adept at eking every advantage out of their enchanted qualities. This requires the craft magic arms and armor and the cast level 5th. Benefit. So basically, you need to be 5th level. Benefit. When you wield a magic weapon, you gain a +1 insight bonus on attack rolls and damage rolls. special condition, you must spend 24 hours with a newly acquired weapon before you gain this benefit when wielding it.
All right. So why is this important, Seraphis?
Because if you remember to pay attention with the equipment that you've got, it means that not only do you get to add yet another +1 to attacks with said weapons, but you also get to add a +1 to the damage of said weapons. And it would be really useful if people would remember that. I don't know, like someone here, maybe. But yes, it's awesome. I love it. And I mean, technically speaking, it technically kind of applies to certain things like staffs as well, because technically a staff is made from a quarterstaff, and a quarterstaff is a weapon.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also you neglected to point out that if you're an artificer and you are crafting weapons or armor that take time, to create, you have spent more than 24 hours with a newly acquired weapon. So
it automatically gets the application to it. Yes.
You get a bonus. So if you're an artificer, maybe consider taking this.
Or a mage who's gone in the mage right path. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Beast shape. You call upon the power of your beast totem to physically change your form. You can use your wild shape ability to assume the form of your beast totem once per day. You gain the extraordinary and supernatural abilities of the creature. So actually, I will point out for prerequisites, you do have to have the beast totem and ability to wild shape. So essentially, it's a druid.
Into a huge animal, too.
Right.
Yeah.
This form is in addition to your normal wild shape ability, but functions in the same way.
By the way, could you imagine doing that into a mammoth?
Now I kind of want to.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay.
Yes, DM. I'm gonna wild shape into a mammoth. You're what?
I bring that up only because our druid did it like last year, and then just proceeded to gore a giant with his tusks, and it was pretty amazing.
Now I kind of want to do it.
So speaking of beast totem, in the druid custom of your people, you have claimed a kind of magical beast as your totem, a patron, protector, and source of strength. It does require the wild empathy class feature. Benefit: choose one of the magical beasts on the table below. You gain a +4 circumstance bonus on saving throws against the specific attack form, thanks to the protection afforded by your connection with the magical beast totem. And so we've got magical beasts like Chimera.
So this I think is interesting to point out. So you're gonna have a beast totem of Chimera, unicorn, whatever, but it protects against. So Chimeras protect against breath weapons. Gorgons protect against petrification. Unicorn protects against poison. So that when you first read it, it's like, okay, so +4 circumstance bonus on saving throws against the specified attack form. And I was literally thinking, why would I take this and then just get a bonus defense against chimeras? That's kind of, oh wait, no, it's your form is the chimera, the bonus is the breath weapons.
Yes. So basically, if you went up against a dragon that also has a breath weapon, you would also get that +4 circumstance bonus against the dragon's breath weapon.
Yes.
So this can be a very effective way of doing savings if you know what you're going up against.
Just getting bonuses. I mean, especially if you kind of have an idea of where the campaign's going to go,
displace a beast, man.
Yeah, it is one of the problems with 3rd edition. The min-maxing for best effect, but it is still, because displacer beast. that's going to be like almost universally useful. Breath weapons, not necessarily. Acid, maybe not. Fear's a good generic one. Cold, a good generic one. Poison, but some of the others, yeah, fear is good. Right, but then it is kind of one of those problems of, okay, cool, digester's an option, but how much is acid actually going to be run into? So that's one thing that does frustrate me when it's like, here's a cool option that might never get used, or your DM's going to be like, ha, you have a bonus. I am never going to use it, so you're screwed.
See, I can see Chimera, Displacer Beast, Gorgon, and Crenshaw being really useful in a lot of games, especially in Eberron, because if you need to do any kind of traveling into Kyber, into the below, pretty much all of those would be useful.
Mm-hmm.
Especially fear, when you've got to be making fear checks almost daily, being down in that below world.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying there's not uses for it. It's just one of those things where like Displacer Beast is almost like the perfect choice.
Oh yeah. No, but no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm expanding upon just how useful these spells can be in a typical game.
Right. My point is just that it is frustrating when it's like, okay, here's these cool things, but it's really easy for the DM to just be like, cool, you spent that, and you're never going to get anything out of it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So,
especially when it comes to the specific ones like Poison, Cold, Sonic, like if you just spend your time like in the Demon Wastes, pretty much never gonna come up.
Right. Yeah, they all have their uses, but it's very, very setting specific. So, all right, Beasthide Elite, your shifter trait improves. So while shifting, your natural armor bonus increases to +4. Without this feat, a Beasthide shifter has a natural armor bonus of +2.
Hey, look, another item creation. Bind Elemental. You can craft magic items that use bound elementals for special effects, including weapons, armor, airships, and elemental galleons. The prerequisite, however, is craft wondrous item and need to be a 9th level caster. Well, a 9th level character in general, let's be fair. Benefit. Because, I mean, technically artificers aren't a caster, but we still get to do it anyway, so. Benefit. Crafting an item with a bound elemental is similar to making a wondrous item, except that calling and binding an elemental is an integral part of creating the item, which is why we put it in a different book. All bound elemental items have a planar binding spell as a prerequisite, but simply casting the spell as part of the item creation is not sufficient. You must cast the spell normally using the item that is to hold the elemental and a Kyber Dragon Shard as a receptacle. The elemental receives its normal saving throw to resist. While the elemental resides in the receptacle, you must compel it to accept bondage in the item by making an opposed charisma check, as specified in the lesser planar binding spell description. If you are an artificer, this feat allows you to cast a planar binding spell by successfully emulating it with a use magic device check, DC 20 plus caster level, but only when you attempt to craft a bound elemental item. In this case, your effective caster level equals your use magic device check result minus 20. For the purpose of opposing the elemental's attempt to escape. See pages 265 for stuff. Now, I hate that last part.
I was going to say, it makes it seem like it's almost impossible for an artificer to do.
Yeah, it's good that it means that the artificer can do it just on the use magic device check, but it effectively means that the majority of your use magic device skill points are redundant, considering that you need to minus 20 from the result.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. It's like use magic device check, DC 20 plus caster level, minus 20 from your roll. So you basically have to have like the bonus like set in stone in order to do this.
Yeah, this is why I'm making a ring with like a plus 20 to my UMD skill, so that I can pull this off with absolutely no chance of failure.
Well, I think there should be some chance of failure, but this just seems like it's like a guaranteed, like a guarantee of failure as opposed to a chance of failure.
Pretty much.
So
also, technically, if you have a dedicated right, an artificer can play with himself and do this completely on his own. Not that I encourage that.
But he's totally going to do it himself. All right, Child of Winter. You are trained in the druidic traditions of the Children of Winter, and Eldeen Reach a sect that embraces death and decay.
Also known as the Evil Dead sect.
Yeah, you must be non-good. Benefit, you can use any druid spell that normally targets animals against vermin as well. A mindless vermin is considered to have an intelligence score of 2 when dealing with you and can be charmed, calmed, or targeted by wild empathy or other similar abilities. In addition, you can use your Summon Nature's Ally spells to summon vermin. Add the following monsters to the list of creatures you can summon using the appropriate Summon Nature's Ally spell. So, first level monster centipede, scorpion, spider, giant ants, spider swarms, monsters. No, I've already read all those. Giant praying mantis, giant wasp, large locust swarm. Basically lots of insects. That's what that's good for.
Colossal monstrous scorpion, by the way, is just a giant nope. Okay. No.
I live in Arizona. We have very little scorpions, but they suck.
Yeah, now imagine one the size of a fully loaded semi-trailer.
Right.
Yeah. Screw that.
But what if I'm a drow?
Well, look, what you get up to in your kinky fetish down in the netherworlds of Zendrick that, is basically someone's version of Australia, that's your opinion, okay?
All right, moving on.
Not exactly common here, though. Water scorpions we call yabbies. Cliffwalk Elite. This is a shifter feat. Your shifter trait improves. So you need to be a shifter with the Cliffwalk trait. That's the goat one, I believe.
Yes.
Benefit. I believe that's what we refer to it as, the goat one.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Benefit. While shifting, your climb speed improves by 10 feet. The improvement stacks with the increase for the Cliffwalker trait for a total increase of 30 feet.
Which, the goat one, so let's be honest, we're talking about a weird goat ancestry. Yeah.
Once upon a time, that person's ancestors were weregoats.
I just like the idea of weregoat. All right, double steel strike. Through the monastic weapon training, you have mastered a fighting style that makes use of an unusual monk weapon, the two-bladed sword. You can treat two-bladed sword as a special monk weapon, allowing you to perform a flurry of blows with it. Okay.
Yes. That is basically the Darth Maul weapon.
Right.
For those playing at home. Dragon Rage. You call upon the power of your dragon totem to enhance your barbarian rage. Sheep Squatch. Yes. Benefit. When you enter a rage or frenzy, your natural armor bonus improves by +2. In addition, for the duration of your rage or frenzy, you gain resistance 10 to the energy type associated with your dragon totem. Total resistance 15 while raging.
Cool.
Indeed.
And speaking of Dragon Totem, this is the prerequisite for the feat we just read. As a proud warrior of the barbarian tribes of Arganessen and Saren, you have claimed one of the true dragon types as your totem, a patron, protector, and source of strength. Choose one kind of true dragon as your totem. You gain resistance 5 to the type of energy associated with it. Ta-da! All listed here. Okay.
Where's our gem dragons?
Probably in Dragons of Eberron. Stay tuned for future books, folks.
Actually, no, I think Dragons of Arganessen has yellow dragons and desert dragons in it.
You mean Secrets of Arganessen?
Huh?
You mean Secrets of Arganessen?
No, it's Dragons of Arganessen.
Oh. I don't know. They did a Secrets of for each of the main continents.
No, it's just Salona and Zendrick.
Folks, ignore what I say, apparently. There's a lot of books for Eberron that I haven't read yet, but we'll get there. All right, go ahead.
I have. Because there's so much stuff that's just hidden that should be in a properly formatted way. And quite frankly, I hate what Wizards of the Coast, they can't format for the life of them.
But he's not bitter, folks.
Yeah, we created a new class for this specific setting. Where should we put the NPC stats for it? How about in a book no one's going to look at?
But then they get them to buy the book.
People are going to buy the book anyway. It's Sean. It's basically New York.
All right, let's move on. We're already over an hour, and I don't think we're halfway through the feat yet.
We'll do it live. Ecclesiarch. That's what, yeah. Ecclesiarch. You command a degree of respect in your church's hierarchy. Benefit. Gather information and knowledge local to your list of class skills. This benefit represents your ability to learn details about any community from the clergy of its churches. In addition, if you take the leadership feat, you gain a +2 bonus to your leadership score.
Okay.
Yep.
Education. Some lands hold the pen in higher regard than the sword. In your youth, you receive the benefit of several years of formal schooling. All knowledge skills are class skills for you. You gain a +1 bonus on all checks with any 2 knowledge skills of your choice.
I wanted to take this, but then I thought, nah, my character kind of grew up in Zendrick. He's not going to be well educated. He's going to be a survivalist.
That's fair. Yeah, no, my this is one thing that I do think is it's definitely a GM/player issue. Like, I don't like the problem is like you want like, okay, knowledge, whatever, and the problem is like it's a fantasy setting. I don't have my phone that I can just connect to the internet and find out information that I need.
Remember when you could remember things, Brian?
No. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, we're going to go on this world spanning quest, but it's like, oh, my knowledge local. I was like, well, that was useful 8 levels ago, maybe. So anyhow, I know it's useful, but it is also not necessarily useful.
Well, it's useful for some of us who are lore nerds and have bits and pieces of this information.
That's fair. All right, let's keep going.
Oh yeah. Why does it always the artisan creation feats always feats always fall upon me?
That is literally an accident.
I think he's up to something, folks. Exceptional artisan item creation. You are an expert at creating magic items faster than usual. Who would have guessed? Prerequisite. You need to have an item creation feat. Who would have known? Yes, very much so. Benefit: when determining the item you need to craft, when determining the time you need to craft any item, reduce the base time by 25%.
I think you need to take this feat at Seraphis, at least for some of the stuff that you're planning on. Cut your time into by a quarter?
Dude, I already have it.
All right, well, see, exactly. I was right yet again.
And it's still going to take me 150 days to craft some stuff.
All right, extended rage. You're able to maintain your rage longer than most. Each of your rages lasts 5 rounds longer than its normal duration. Decent barbarian feat.
Yep. Extra music. La. You can use your barbaric. You can use your bardic music more often than you otherwise could. Prerequisite: you need to be a bard, obviously. Benefit:
can I be a dancing bard?
Look, as long as you've got bardic music, who gives a crap? And it's the first of all bardic feature, so you know, as long as you're a bard, you can use it. Benefit: when you use bardic music you can use bardic music 4 extra times per day. Normally, a bard without extra bardic music feat can use bardic music a number of times per day equal to his bardic level. Special: a character can gain this feat multiple times.
So you can put out one heck of a music set.
Oh, yes.
All right, let's see. Do we need to... Okay. Starting characters in dragon marked houses. If you're a dragon marked race, you don't have to have a dragon mark in order to be part of the house. So that's the short answer of what that says. All right, extra shifter trait. You manifest a second shifter trait while shifting. So select a second shifter trait from those described in the shifter race description. You manifest all the benefits of the second trait except for the temporary bonus to an ability score.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
I mean, just the fact that, now, because I do forget, does the beast hide, like each of the types of shifters, do they have, like, they just have the same ability for that particular type, right? It's not like, the dragon mark where it's like, okay, you get this dragon mark, so you get either this spell or this spell.
Yeah, so like with the beast hide, you get the natural armor bonus. But with this, you get to take a second shifter trait, so you could also get the claws as well.
Okay, so you could be a beast hide long fang.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Meh. All right.
And now you're a barbarian with style.
Now you're a barbarian with style. All right. Hey,
or
it's
you're
one
a
of
druid
yours.
who's even worse to screw with. Oh, yes. And look, another item creation feat, Brian. What a coincidence.
It is a we're going. Look, I quote unquote made you take one of them. Just the fact that it's, balanced out since then, that's not my fault. Actually, why don't you take the next two?
Yeah. Why don't I do that? And we'll see where the next artisan feat pops up, shall we?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Extra rings, item creation. Your familiarity with forging magic rings allows you to make use of more rings than normal. Prerequisite: need to be able to forge rings. Benefit: you can wear up to 4 magic rings, 2 on each hand, and all function normally. Normally, without this feat, you can only wear and use 2 magic rings at one time.
I mean, this just kind of reminds me of like Harry Dresden. He's got like all the magic force rings.
Yeah. And if you take this and then at epic levels take the whatever that ring feat is called to gain extra rings, you can totally go Mandarin.
Nice.
Yeah. Your whole hand is just rings.
Malachi was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, why you'd want to if you're an artificer is beyond me, because you can double up effects and stuff on rings. So really, 4 rings for an artificer is already overpowered.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we can keep it going.
Extraordinary artisan. Damn it. Item creation. You are an expert at creating magic items at a lower cost than normal. Prerequisite. You need to be able to craft magic items. Benefit. When determining the gold piece cost in raw materials, you need to craft any item, reduce the base price by 25%. Yes, I already have it.
Okay, I was about to ask. All right. Favorite in-house. You're a member of one of the dragon-marked mercantile houses and wield some influence in that house. So you do have to be a dragon-marked race and house. Benefit. Your family is influential and powerful, and you have the ability to call in favors from other members of your family and their extensive contacts. By making a favor check, you can call upon contacts to gain important information without going through the time and trouble of a gather information check. Favors can also be used to acquire the loan of equipment or documents from influential acquaintances. To call in a favor, you make a favor check, roll a d20, and add a bonus based on your character level. The DM sets the DC based on the scope of the favor being requested, from 10 for a simple favor to as high as 25 for highly dangerous, expensive, or illegal. You cannot take 10 or 20, nor can you retry the check for the same favor. Favors should help advance the plot of an adventure. A favor that would enable you to circumvent an adventure will always be unavailable to you, regardless of the result of a favor check. You can try to call in a favor of a number of times per week equal to 1/2 your character level, rounded down. You can never ask for more than one favor from any one contact in a given week. For instance, at 7th level, you can try to call in a favor as many as 3 times per week, but each attempt must involve a different contact from among those associated with your mercantile house. The DM will carefully monitor your use of favors to ensure that you don't abuse this ability. The success or failure of a mission shouldn't hinge on the use of a favor, and calling in favors shouldn't replace good role-playing or the use of other skills. The DM may disallow any favor he or she deems disruptive to the campaign.
I think in the 3.5 game I'm in, the leader of the Merc group that we're part of has like an altered version of this, because I think he used to be part of the character used to be part of the Dwarven City's standing army, but now isn't. However, we recently, because of the events of the story, we sent a messenger to the nearest fortification to let them know that there's a danger on the way and to be prepared in case we haven't handled it by then. So this sounds like that same kind of thing.
Sure, and I think it's easy to adapt this into a non-Eberron feat that does something similar. You know, like for fantasy settings, we always hear about the Thieves Guild or the Merchants Guild, whatever. It doesn't have to be limited to dragon marks. It's just in this case, you know, dragon marks fill those, or dragon marked houses fill those same roles as the Thieves Guild and the Merchants Guild and the Artificers Guild, etc. So yeah, I mean, applying this to a Greyhawk or a Forgotten Realm setting is easy enough. All right. Flensing Strike. You have studied a martial style practiced by monks devoted to the mockery, which has taught you to cut your opponent's skin in a very painful way. Using Flensing Strike is a full round action. Make an attack roll with your comma. If you hit a living corporeal foe, that creature must make a fortitude saving throw. In addition to taking damage normally, the difficulty check is increased by 2 if you are wielding 2 commas. The target adds his natural armor bonus, if any, as a bonus on this saving throw. A target that fails the saving throw is racked with pain, receiving a -4 penalty on attack rolls, saves, and checks for 1 minute. Constructs, oozes, plants, undead, incorporeal creatures, creatures immune to extra damage from critical hits, and creatures with a special immunity to pain are not susceptible to this feat. Special, an evil monk may select Cleansing Strike as a bonus feat at 2nd or 6th level if she meets the prerequisites. So that's one thing that I do think is kind of interesting, that they've got a lot of stuff that, like, hey, you're going to be an evil character in order to do this. And it's like, but we're supposed to be the heroes. So there's a lot of non-heroic stuff.
Well, see, that's the thing. Everyone doesn't necessarily say that an evil character is a bad guy, but it's like how in the first Avengers movie, the Hulk was on the team, even though by all standards, by all public perception, the Hulk had destroyed half of New York already.
That's fair.
So it's less the character is evil and more what is the character doing with that evil nature. If they're part of the Wayfinders Guild, they're putting that evil tendency to a good cause.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't stop you from being evil. It just means that you're being evil for a cause that's better.
As Malachi says, just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Yeah, I said it in a longer way, but yes.
No, you're fine. All right, let's move on.
Also, yes, I know that was Wreck-It Ralph reference.
Yes.
Gatekeeper Initiative. Gatekeeper Initiate. My God.
Words are hard.
Words are hard and they suck. You have been trained in the ancient druidic traditions of the Gatekeepers. Founded originally to ward off an extraplanar assault by aberrations. Actually, I wonder who that could have been. Basically, you just need to be a druid. But benefit, you gain a +2 bonus on saving throws against the supernatural and spell-like abilities of aberrations. Add Knowledge the Planes to your list of druid class skills. You may use Knowledge the Planes rather than Knowledge Dungeoneering when making skill checks to identify aberrations and their special abilities. In addition, you can cast the following spells as if they were on the druid spell list at the indicated level. So we have from 1st to 8th, protection from evil, zone of natural purity, dimensional anchor, nature's wrath, banishment, dimensional lock, return to nature, and mind blank. Oh, sorry, there was 9th level. Imprisonment. Why would you put that one to the side like that? That's so yes. You muted again.
It's because of the graphic design. This is coming in. They could have fit it in, but
I could have fitted it in.
I'm just saying that's why they did it.
Yeah. Great Bite. Shifter. You know how to hit where it hurts with your fangs. Prerequisite. A long tooth shifter. Benefit, your fang attacks now have a critical hit multiplier of ×3. Normally, your feat, normally without this feat, your fangs only have a multiplier of ×2.
Okay. Way to do 2 of them, trying to throw off the item creation feats.
You did 2 in a row. I did 2 in a row. Sorry, you made me do 2 in a row. Then you did 2 in a row. So I'm doing 2 in a row.
I didn't do 2 in a row.
Yeah, you did 2 in a row.
Oh, well, whatever. All right, let's keep going. Great Rend. You know how to hit where it hurts with your claws. You hit with both of your claw attacks in a round. You deal extra damage equal to 1d4 plus half your strength modifier, plus 1 additional point for every 4 character levels you have. All right.
Greater Dragon Mark. You have a Greater Dragon Mark. Wow. Who would have thought? So you need to be a member of a Dragon Marked race or house and have one of the previous least lesser.
No. You have to have. Oh, if you want to have a Greater Dragon Mark, you have to have taken least
and
lesser.
And you need 12 ranks in any 2 skills.
That I think is straight. Why do you have to have skills?
It'll explain it once we get to Dragon Marks. Probably.
Okay, fair enough.
Benefit. You gain a greater Dragon Mark and the use of one spell-like ability associated with the greater Dragon Mark of your house. See the next section. In addition, you can use your least and lesser Dragon Mark spell-like abilities one additional time per day. A saving throw against one of your Dragon Mark spell-like abilities has a DC of 10 plus the level of the spell plus your Charisma modifier. Your caster level for your Dragon Mark spell-like abilities increases to 10 plus your level in the Dragon Mark Air Prestige class.
Okay.
If any.
All right. Greater powerful charge. You can charge with extra force as a powerful charge, but benefit as powerful charge, but treat yourself as one size category larger than you are. Okay. So you're a mammoth. Now you're a really big mammoth. No.
You're a great mammoth. A monstrous mammoth.
A fighter may select greater powerful charge as one of his fighter bonus feats. Okay.
Greater shifted defense. By delving deeper into your shifter heritage, you developed. By delving deeper into your shifter heritage, you develop the ability to ignore some damage from every attack. Oh my god!
Learn to word.
I word make good. Okay. Me fail English? That impossible. When benefit. So when shifting, your damage reduction increases to DR4 silver.
Okay.
Which that's pretty good.
Wait, so DR4, so damage reduction 4, is that against silver, or does that mean silver ignores it?
Silver is then the only thing that ignores it.
That is a really weird wording or way to write that.
Yeah, I know. It took me quite a while to figure that one out too. But yeah, basically, so anytime you take physical damage, you reduce it by 4, except if it's against silver.
Makes sense. I mean, it's a shifter, so makes sense. Yeah. All right, Green Singer Initiate. You have embraced the druidic traditions of the Green Singers, a chaotic Eldeen Reaches sect with close ties to the Fae. Add Bluff, Hide, and Perform to your list of druid class skills. In addition, you can cast the following spells as if they were on the druid spell list at the indicated level. Charm Person, Daze Monster, Displacement, Charm Monster, Hold Monster, Cat's Grace, Mass, Ethereal Jaunt, Charm Monster, Mass, Etherealness.
I love the Green Singers.
Okay.
They're chaotic, and they like the Fae, just like me. Haunting Melody. You can use your music to inspire fear. Bardic Music class feature and perform 9 ranks. Benefit. When you sing or use some other perform skill, you can unnerve enemies within 30 feet of you. Any opponent in range must succeed on a will saving throw. Or become shaken for a number of rounds equal to your ranks in the perform skill. This is a mind-affecting fear effect. Special. Using this ability counts as one of your daily uses of bardic music. And that's the only downside I have about that.
Unless you take that feat that lets you just use all of your, all the extra, bardic music.
Well, yeah, but then you're grabbing that multiple times and then grabbing these extra ones too.
Yeah.
So that you can keep compensating, which, I mean, yeah, that works if you're able to, do regular rests. But if you're doing a marathon dungeon, it sucks.
Healing factor. When your current period of shifting ends, you heal a limited amount of damage. Ooh, this is nice.
Oh, yeah, this is the Wolverine.
Yeah, when you stop shifting, you immediately heal a number of hit points equal to your character level. This benefit does not occur if you die before the period of shifting ends. Makes sense? Yeah. But yeah, no, this is... If you're going to be like a shifter barbarian, shifter fighter, this is to me, that's a no-brainer.
Shifter monk could work too.
Sure. Anything that's going to get up close and personal with the whatever you're being thrown at.
Heroic Spirit. You have a larger reserve of luck than the average hero. Benefit: when your action point maximum per level is increased by 3. Thus, you now gain a number of action points equal to 8 plus half your character level at each new level you attain. This number also represents the total number of action points you can have at each level. Normal. Without this feat, player characters receive. That is worded weirdly. Okay. Without this feat, player characters receive and are limited to action points equal to 5 plus half their character level at each new level they attain. Special NPCs normally do not have action points. By taking this feat, an NPC gains and can use 3 action points every level.
Right. So we talked about that when we talked about action points.
Yeah.
All right, improve damage reduction Warforged. You gain damage reduction or improve your existing damage reduction. You gain damage reduction 1 adamantine or improve your existing damage reduction by 1. If you have the adamantine body feat, you can take this feat multiple times.
And now all of a sudden, your what was it? 5 DR5 adamantine from the adamantine body feat that the Warforged gains. Yeah, now you can start going 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, a Warforged fighter with this feat and the adamantine body, forget about it.
Right.
And then have a artificer enhance, give them up to a +5 armor enhancement on their already existing +8 body.
Then take the Warforged Juggernaut prestige class.
Yeah, and then you're just like, you are the train.
You are the train. And you're a Warforged, so you can mount a cow catcher on there too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Improve fortification. You improve your Warforged fortification. Sorry. You improve your Warforged fortification, gaining immunity to sneak attacks and extra damage from critical hits. Prerequisites: Warforged. No kidding. Benefit: you gain immunity to sneak attacks and extra damage from critical hits. But you lose the ability to be healed by spells of the healing sub-school.
Okay.
Yep.
So would that mean that you could only be repaired by a craft skill?
Yes.
Okay.
So with this is basically bringing a Warforged on its way from being a living construct and getting closer to being a regular construct.
Interesting.
So you're now going from like, because in the Warforged section, remember they said that Warforged are made from like a
wood and metal.
Yeah, wood and metal. So you've got that metal outer shell, but inside you've got that organic material of wood and other materials, right?
Oh, right. Okay. So yeah. So now you're replacing it with more metal.
Yep.
Which means the wood can't be quote unquote healed.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Improved natural attack. One of a creature's natural attacks is more dangerous than its type and size would otherwise indicate. Choose one of the creature's natural attack forms. The damage of this natural weapon increases by 1 step as if the creature's size had increased by 1 category. To determine the amount of the increase, find the natural weapon's damage on one of the 2 progressions given below and improve it to the next higher die value. Okay. So basically this is like fangs or claws or something like that. So figure out how much damage it is and then go to the next one. A creature can gain this feat multiple times. Each time it takes the feat, the damage for different one of its natural attacks increases. A shifter may select improved natural attack as a shifter feat. For a long-tooth shifter, the damage his fangs deal increases from 1d6 to 1d8. For razor claw shifter, the damage his claws deal increases from 1d4 to 1d6.
Investigate, and this is a fun one. You can use the search skill to find and analyze clues at the scene of a crime or a mystery. Benefit. This feat expands the way you can use your search skill by allowing you to notice and analyze available clues in a specific area. This use of the search skill is a full round action. Clues are pieces of evidence that lead to the solution of a mystery. Clues are physical and can be seen, heard, touched, smelt, or tasted. A clue stands out because it's not a normal feature of the area being searched. Examples of clues include a trampled flower bed, a broken urn, but my eyes just went weird. A pin snapped off in a lock, a torn strip of cloak, a burnt scrap of scroll, or a brooch clutched in a dead man's fist. Add the following task to the list provided in the player's handbook description for the search skill. Find a clue, DC 10. So in addition, oh Jesus, this is a big one. So in addition to find a certain item, notice a secret door, or find a footprint, you have the additional training and expertise necessary to find clues of all sorts. Modify the search DC according to the nature of the scene being examined, as indicated below. This function of the search skill doesn't reveal clues when there are no clues to find. And then it just highlights through some of those: undisturbed, disturbed, and greatly disturbed, which modifies by 0, +5, +10.
Right.
Stop moving. No, my PDF kept moving. When a successful search check turns up a clue, you can make a second check to discern patterns, analyze evidence, and draw conclusions about what occurred in a specific area. In other words, the first search check lets you find something, and the second check allows you to figure out what you found. You can make a DC 15 search check and analyze a clue. By examining a body, you might determine whether the victim fought back or provided no struggle at all, or if claws, a weapon, or a spell killed the victim. By looking at a scorch mark on a wall, you might approximate the location of the spellcaster when the spell was cast. The DC for the check is modified by the time that has elapsed since the event occurred and how significant the clue is, as evident below. As indicated below. All other rules concerning the search skill otherwise apply. And then it just gives examples. Each day passed since the event adds an additional +2. Minor clue is +0. Moderate clue is +2, and major clue is +5. The DM should secretly make the second search check to analyze a clue. If the check succeeds, the DM provides a truthful, objective analysis of the clue that can help the investigator reach a reasonable and logical conclusion. For example, analyzing a brooch clutched in the hand of a murdered dwarf, a major clue, reveals that it was torn from a blue cloak or tunic. It bears strands of a blue material. It bears the symbol of House Cannith, but the brooch isn't of the quality that the House Noble would normally wear. These true and objective facts are now left for the investigator to consider and follow up on. If the check fails, the DM provides analysis of the clue that sounds plausible, but is actually flawed in some manner. For example, a flawed analysis of the major clue discussed above would reveal only that the brooch bears the symbol of House Cannith. Even a successful analysis won't reveal the actual authority of a clue, of authenticity of a clue. False clues planted at a scene could provide truthful and objective data that leads an investigator in the wrong direction. Generally, investigating a scene a second time doesn't add a new insight unless another clue is discovered. You can take 10 while making a search check to find a clue, but you can't take 20. Synergy. If you have 5 or more ranks in an appropriate knowledge skill, you get a +5 bonus in search checks to find or analyze clues.
All right. So I have to ask, why would they make this a feat instead of just saying, hey, you have a search skill. Here are some new ways to use the search skill.
But Brian, you'd have to like make a whole new book. I don't know, call it the Player's Handbook 2, and put that in there.
No, because they remember they had the section of here are new ways to use existing skills in Eberron. Okay,
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they do that instead of making this investigate feat or whatever it's called? Yeah, investigate. Like, so I have to sacrifice, because again, it's just use the search skill. So why wouldn't I just use the search skill?
I don't know, because a lot of the DC and stuff here is basically for the GM.
Right. But again, I'm still stuck on why it's a feat.
No, I agree with you. And especially considering that Player's Handbook 2 has an investigation rule that can be attached, an investigation sub skill under the search, under your search skill, that is part of the search skill, that basically allows you to do this.
Yeah.
So the only thing it doesn't have is this whole thing about what's on the DM side about the DC and all that.
Like, I think this came out before Player's Handbook 2.
I think it did, yeah.
So I'm gonna give them some slack there. But this is really stupid as a feat. Like, I could see it being like either like a new skill with a search prerequisite. Okay, you could take an investigate skill, but you have to have 3 ranks of search or something already. Just making up numbers. But to have this as a feat, this is, I don't know. I need somebody to give me a better explanation, because I got nothing here.
Yeah, no, that's...
I don't have any problems with what it does. I literally just have a problem with the fact that it's a feat.
Yeah, no. I 100% agree. Like, I guess if it did something like in the same way that like the artisan feats have been like giving you 25% off of crafting, from the gold cost, the XP cost, or the time cost. If this had done something else, like something like that for your search skill, like specifically tie it really in, that would be something. But as it is, it feels like it's mainly rules for a DM to do.
Yeah. All right, man. We found something that we think is really dumb so far. Which again, I don't have a problem with what it is. I just think it's dumb that, anyways. All right, we need to move on.
No.
All right, night trading. You are part of a knightly order that combines the divine calling of the paladin class with another form of training. Pick one class. Taking levels in this class does not prevent you from taking paladin levels. If you take levels in any other class, you lose your ability to progress as a paladin as usual. If the selected class also has restricted advancement, such as the monk class, taking paladin levels does not prevent you from advancing in that class. I get it. I don't know how useful I think it is.
So basically it allows you to take levels in another core class without yes.
So I think he's talking about the investigate feat, but yeah, stuff like this is why I say there's a wipe your ass feat in 3rd edition.
like I 100% agree that there are some really redundant feats. For the most part, Eberron got through it mostly okay. But as we just read, investigate sucks. It's a good mechanic. It's not a good feat.
Exactly.
But yeah, so night training. So what you're basically doing is being able to multi-class into another divine class.
No, any other class.
Oh, any other class? Okay. So being able to multi-class into another class, but without having the skill reduction that you would normally have with it.
Well, and in this case, like yeah, if I remember correctly, you can't multi-class as a paladin. And or like once you do, then you stop being able to advance. And so this says if as long as you have this night training, you can run this one other class and still advance in paladin if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I rather like this one just because it kind of allows, as you said, a paladin to kind of this is going to sound funny, but it allows a paladin to experiment.
Well, I mean, with how again that the min-maxing of third edition, like losing the ability to multi-class is kind of a big deal. So, I can see that.
Least Dragon Mark. We're never going to finish this, man.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Come on, just plow through.
Least Dragon Mark. You have a least Dragon Mark. Prerequisite: member of an appropriate Dragon Marked house, race or house, race and house. Jeez, I would say good. Benefit: you gain a least Dragon Mark and the use of one spell-like ability associated with the least Dragon Mark of your house. A saving throw against your Dragon Mark spell-like ability has a DC of 10 plus the level of the spell plus your charisma modifier. Your caster level for your least Dragon Mark spell-like ability is 1 plus your level in the Dragon Mark Air prestige class, if any.
Coco B brings up a great one. Warforged Knight, Paladin, Monk. Let the repairs begin.
Well, no, not if he takes the adamantine body and the fortification.
Well, but is the monk healing ability is that a divine spell ability?
Well, it wouldn't matter regardless because normal natural healing wouldn't normal forms of healing wouldn't.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Coco was wrong, but it still sounded funny. So, and also, Coco, thanks for being here and paying attention because clearly you got the joke. All right. Oh, hey, look what I get to do. Legendary Artisan. You have mastered the method of creating magic items. When determining your XP cost for creating any magic item, reduce the base cost by 25%. Did you take that one?
Yeah.
Well, duh.
What, am I stupid or something? Of course I took this one.
Look, I wasn't going to say it. Anyways, next one.
Lesser Dragon Mark. Oh, Jesus. You have a Lesser Dragon Mark. Again, you need to be a Dragon Mark race. Benefit: you gain a Lesser Dragon Mark and the use of one spell-like ability associated with the Lesser Dragon Mark of your house. In addition, you can use your least Dragon Mark spell-like ability one additional time per day.
All right, we've already gone over this with all the others. Let's just skip that.
Yeah.
Long Stride Elite. Your shifter trait improves. When shifting, your base land speed improves by 10 feet. This improvement stacks with the other increase for the Long Stride trait for a total increase of 20 feet.
Huh. I might as well just do the next two since they're so connected. Mithril Body. A Warforged character's body can be crafted with a layer of mithril that provides some protection without hindering speed or gracefulness. Prerequisite: Warforge. First level only. Benefit: your armor bonus is increased to +5, and you are considered to be wearing light armor. You now have a +5 maximum dexterity bonus to AC, a -5 penalty on all skill checks that armor check penalties apply to, blah blah blah, and an arcane spell failure chance of 15%. Without
-2 penalty, not -5.
Oh, sorry, -2. Normally, without this feat, your Warforged character has an armor bonus of +2. Special: unlike most feats, this feat must be taken at first level during character creation. Warforged druids who take this feat cannot cast druid spells or use any of their druid supernatural or spell-like class abilities. Warforged characters with this feat do not gain the benefit of any class feature prohibited to a character wearing light armor. And next we have Mythical Fluidity. Your movements are smoother and more fluid than those of other Warforged. And prerequisite is Warforged with the Mythical Body. Benefit: the maximum dexterity bonus a Warforged with the Mythical Body feat can apply to armor class is increased by 1. In addition, the armor check penalties to yada 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 are reduced by 1. Special: this feat can be taken multiple times. However, armor check penalties cannot be reduced to less than 0.
All right, give me just a second.
So basically, for those of you playing at home, you can basically take this until you've reduced your armor check penalties down to 0. And I think that means that you can gain like 3 to 5 additional points of AC through that. So it's not bad.
Nope, not bad at all.
It kind of, in a few ways, it kind of works out a little bit better than the adamantine, but yeah.
All right, so real quick, folks, I did put up a poll for which miniature we're going to give away because due to the fact that we're already 2 hours in and we're not quite done with the feats, we are going to finish the feats tonight, but we're going to come back and do Dragon Marks and Religion next week. So just so you're all aware. But anyways, vote in the poll. All right. Monastic training. You are part of an order that combines the monastic discipline of the monk class with another form of training. So basically, this is the knightly training, but for monks. So, which I didn't know monks were restricted in multi-classing.
Neither did I. But again, this is probably one of those things where you can multi-class without suffering a skill bonus penalty to the new skills that you get too.
Right.
So,
true. Music of Growth.
Music of Growth, yep. Your music can enhance the power of animals and plant creatures. Prerequisite: Bard perform 12 ranks. Benefit: by singing or playing music, you grant a +4 enhancement bonus to the strength and constitution scores of every creature or of the animal or plant type within 30 feet of you. This bonus lasts only as long as you can continue performing. Special: using this ability counts as one of your daily uses of bardic music.
Okay. Music of Making. Echoing the music of creation, your own performance enhances any process of creation. So you get to be the boombox in the workshop while Seraphis is making whatever it is that Seraphis is making. So if you sing or otherwise perform as part of the casting of a conjuration spell, the duration of the spell is doubled. Spells with an instantaneous duration are not affected. If you perform while using any craft skill, you gain a +4 sacred bonus on your craft check. So, again, counts as a daily use of bardic music.
Sorry. Sorry, didn't get to have breakfast, so I'm kind of trying to sneak in when I can. The funny thing about that is that there is actually a new magic spell for arcane users that kind of does the exact same thing, which means if you don't have a bard, there is an alternate way of basically getting this bonus.
Okay.
Although
we'll get there when we get to magic.
Yeah. Although it's for, as it says down the bottom, for crafting skills and checks, not just like conjuration creation spells. So
right.
But yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah. Basically, artificers can make a boombox that kind of inspires them. So
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to make the joke too.
It's my joke. I claimed it. Anyways,
I'm not saying it's not your joke. I'm just saying
move. Let's get these feats
Powerful
done.
Charge. You can charge with extra force. You need to be a medium or large character. You can take it from first level. Benefit: when you charge, if your melee attack hits, you deal an extra 1d8 points of damage. For large creatures, the extra damage is 2d6. For huge, 3d6. For gargantuan, 4d6. And for colossal, 6d6.
Okay.
I'm going to take that for Gamera.
Keep going. There's a little bit more.
Oh, yep. This feat only works when you make a charge. It does not work when you are mounted. If you have the ability to make multiple attacks after a charge, you may only apply this extra damage to one of those attacks. Special: a fighter may select Powerful Charge as one of his fighter bonus feats.
All right. Precise Swing. You can ignore most obstacles when making a melee attack against an opponent. You ignore all effects of cover, but not total cover when making a melee attack, including a melee attack with a breach weapon. Okay.
Why do you get the small ones?
I don't know.
Pursue. You have the ability to follow an opponent's wake. In combat, when an opponent in an adjacent square takes a single 5-foot step to a square that you do not threaten, you can spend one action point to move into the square the opponent just left. This movement occurs after the 5-foot step, but before any other actions, and it does not provoke attacks of opportunity. I would love this for our 2 tanks in our 3.5 game. My God, that would be hilarious. Oh, dear.
All right. Raging Luck. When raging, you have a greater ability to alter your luck than most others do. You gain 1 temporary action point while raging. If you don't use this action point during your rage, it disappears when your rage ends. Okay.
Recognize Imposter. You are extremely skilled at spotting imposters. Requires some skills. You receive a +4 bonus to spot checks to oppose disguise checks, and on sense motive checks to oppose bluff checks.
Okay. Repel Aberration. Your Gatekeeper training allows you to keep aberrations at bay. You can ward off creatures of the aberration type. You make a charisma check and consult table 8 to 9, turning undead on page 159 of the player's handbook. Using your druid level to determine the most powerful aberration you can affect. This ability works only against aberrations within 60 feet of you. You then roll 2d6 and add your druid level to your charisma modifier to determine your turning damage. An affected aberration is held at bay, unable to move toward you for as long as you maintain concentration. The aberration's actions are not otherwise restricted. It can fight other creatures, use its supernatural or spell-like abilities, and attack you with ranged weapons. If you move closer to it, nothing happens. The creature is not forced back, I'm assuming is what it's going to say. The creature is free to make melee attacks against you if you come within reach. If a warded aberration moves away from you and then tries to turn back toward you, it can't move any closer. You can use this ability a number of times per day equal to 3 plus your charisma modifier. The extra turning feat grants you extra uses of this ability. So, as it said, essentially it's an alternate it's turn aberration instead of turn undead.
Yes. Now, I'm making an executive decision because I don't know if you've seen how long this section is. But this is basically another case of investigate. Okay.
Okay, I was wondering if it was going to be the same thing.
Yes.
So
I'll read the top part. Research. You can use your knowledge skills to extract information from books, scrolls, and other repositories of facts and figures. Now, this is once again a kind of system that's basically like investigate. This should be part of a mechanic, and you know what? It is in Player Handbook 2.
So real quick, I would say read at least that first paragraph under the benefit, but yeah, we'll skip the rest of it.
Okay, benefit. This feat expands the way you can use the knowledge skills. It allows you to use a knowledge skill to navigate a library, an office filing system, a chronicler's repository, or a church's record storage cell in order to discover information. You must be able to read the language the texts are written in to research them.
Yes.
And
so
then
let's see. Oh my gosh.
Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, folks, if you want to know how research works, please consult the Eberron campaign setting book.
Keep going. Keep going. Yeah. Look, that's going to take us like at least another 10, 15 minutes. I'm not.
No. Hey, you made the call, and I agree with you. So we already hashed it out over investigate, folks. Research is investigate. So there.
Basically, and technically, these rules are covered as part of the skills that they're from in Player Handbook 2. Just go look at that.
Right. All right. Right of counsel. You have the legal and sacral right to seek advice from one of your ancestors, a deathless elf in Arunel's City of the Dead. By virtue of your hereditary place in your family, you are allowed to enter the City of the Dead and seek advice from a deathless ancestor who resides there. Generally, if your ancestor is an undying counselor, your ancestor is an undying counselor. If you physically present yourself before your ancestor, you can gain one of the following benefits. The ancestor uses one of its spell-like abilities, such as Dispel Evil, Dispel Magic, or Heal on your behalf. The ancestor answers your questions about matters within its experience and learning up to the limits of its own knowledge. The ancestors seek supernatural knowledge on your behalf, providing answers to questions equivalent to a commune spell with your level as the caster level and no XP cost. The deathless ancestors in the City of the Dead grow impatient with frequent interruption, and thus they refuse to assist you more than once per month. All right. I'm going to take issue with this as well. Why is this a feat? This is a straight up role play opportunity.
Yeah, but this is another case of they put a lot of mechanics in feats to basically give you permission to roleplay. Like if this was second edition, you would obviously think of this as this is just part of my notes section on my role-playing stuff. But 3.5 went heavy into the mechanics, or third edition went heavy into mechanics, and so that's why we've got things like this.
Yeah, I just I get what they're doing. Like, and when I say it, I can see the point of, it's right to counsel. So, maybe not all of the elves are allowed to go and seek counsel with the City of the Dead.
Yeah.
But
this is a case of like, say you have not direct knowledge of your ancestry line going back to, I don't know, the 1000 AD, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know who your ancestor was. So with this feat, you have direct permission to go commune with them to seek knowledge and stuff that they've had for the last, 1,100 years.
Sure, right, but like I said, it's still weird to make it a feat.
Yeah.
I kind of get it because, again, it implies that not everyone gets to do it. I don't know.
Again, though, this is more for the people who are not playing to min-max, but are playing to roleplay. I can see it used in that regard.
Sure, right. No, but that's why I say, to me, it seems like a roleplay opportunity as opposed to like, I mean, the mechanics are fine. I don't see any problems with the mechanics. But like, it would be something where, like, okay, as a player, I'm going to go to the head of my house or the keepers of the city of the dead, or so, make up what you will, and petition to be able to go in and see them, as opposed to, oh, you need this information, but you don't have the right feat. Sucks to be you. You don't get to do this. I don't know. It just seems like it would be better, as a role play mechanic as opposed to a feat mechanic.
Well, and I guess that's kind of what the part below about normal. The elves guard the city of the dead with religious devotion, preventing anyone from entering who is not entitled to visit the ancestors. So, if you are already a elf of RNL, you are probably already entitled to be able to visit that area. This just gives you extra promotion, kind of thing.
Yeah, again, we can hash it out all we want, but at the end of the day, I'm still annoyed that it's a feat.
It probably would have served better in like the races of Eberron as like a racial feat or something. I don't know.
Maybe, or like when you take like your, like when you specify where you're from. Okay, so if you're an elf from Aranel, okay, you get to do this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because that's the other thing. This is also some weaselly words. Preventing anyone from entering who is not entitled to visit the ancestors. Okay, well, if I went to the quote unquote mayor of the city or the ruling council of Aranel or whatever, and said, I need to speak with the dead, they're like, okay, we'll tell the guards you get to go in. Cool. I'm now entitled to visit.
Well, you're entitled to visit that time.
Right. Which I'm saying that I think that is mechanic enough, as opposed to needing the feat of, oh yeah, once a month you're allowed to go bug the undead. So, anyways, I think we're just going to go in circles on that. Let's keep going and knock these out.
Serpent Strike. 3 monastic weapon training. You have mastered a fighting style that makes use of an unusual monk weapon, the long spear. Standard prerequisites. Benefit. You can treat a long spear as a special monk weapon, allowing you to perform a flurry of blows with it.
Hooray. Shifter defense. By delving into your shifter heritage, you have developed the ability to ignore a little damage from every attack. While shifting, you gain damage reduction 2. Okay.
2 silver.
Right.
Yes. Once again, lycanthropes.
We're goats.
Shifter ferocity. You are a tenacious combatant, continuing to fight with others. Would succumb to pain and injury. Prerequisite shifter. Benefit. While shifting, you continue to fight without penalty if you are disabled or dying.
Yeah, that can make for some good drama in your role playing. All right, I'm at -3 hit points, but I get to keep going.
Technically, if once you get to 0 hit points, you're technically meant to be down and unconscious. But with this, a shifter would be able to keep going.
Right.
Now, granted, they probably only get... they would probably start going under the rules of you only get 1 action per turn.
Oh, and it's going to be super limited just because of the fact that you're gonna die. Yeah. You're exerting yourself.
But just the ability to be able to go, yeah, no, I'm still going. Oh, look, -3. I'm still going.
Well,
until you hit that -10, you're going to still keep going.
Right. And at least it's again, it could just diving into the role play side. Yes, I realize this is more the combat mechanic side. But again, who doesn't want that cool story that, my shifter was dying and he sacrificed it? Like, yes, he died. He sacrificed himself for the group. but I was able to do this, this, and this when I was already at like -8 hit points. So instead of just bleeding out on the ground, I went out in a blaze of glory.
It's doing Beowulf. It's pulling a Beowulf.
Yes.
You're succumbing to dragon venom, but you're like, hold on, I want to go check out the treasure I just won. Oh, that is awesome. Okay, now I can die.
Yeah, exactly.
Like metal is basically what that is.
Was it did I go last or was that you?
I'll do it anyway.
Okay.
Shifter multi-attack. You're adept at using your natural attack in conjuration with another weapon. Prerequisite shifter. Shifter with the long tooth or razor claw. Benefit: your secondary attack with a natural weapon takes only a -2 penalty. Normally, it takes a -5 penalty.
Yeah, that's useful. Especially if you're gonna have one of those, because like it's cool. It's like, oh, you've got claws and fangs, and you can use those with your normal weapon. By the way, it's like a -6 to actually or -5 to use it. So yeah, take this so you get a -2. Yeah, way better.
And if you take the double up shifter thing, technically you could do both of these at a -2.
Nice. I approve.
Oh yeah.
All right, Silver Smite. You wield the power of the Silver Flame to smite evil. When you use your Smite Evil ability, deal an extra 1d6 points of sacred damage to the opponent you smite. The fire is silvery in appearance, but does not burn.
And that's the power of the Silver Flame. Song of the Heart. Your bardic music reaches the depths of its listeners' hearts. So you must be a bard.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so glad we could clear that up. Benefit. When you use Inspire Courage, Inspire Competence, Inspire Greatness, or Inspire Heroics, any bonus granted by your music increases by +1. Thus, a 15th level bard with this feat grants his allies a +4 bonus on attack rolls, damage rolls, and saving throws against... Oh my god! Against fear when he uses Inspire Courage rather than the +3 he would normally grant. If he uses Inspire Greatness, the same bard grants up to 3 allies 3 bonus hit dice, a +3 bonus... and a +2 bonus on fortitude saves. Also, when you use Fascinate, Suggestion, or Mass Suggestion, the saving throw DC increases by 1. If you have the Haunting Melody feat, the saving throw DC for the effects also increase by 1. If you have the Music of Growth feat, the bonus bestowed by that feat bonus...
Okay. Let's skip over guys, it stacks with a bunch of other feats. That's what this paragraph is.
Oh my... Do you...
That's...
Look, it doesn't... It also doesn't add to additional use of bardic music either.
No, because again, this is so your bardic music reaches the depths of its listener's heart. So you're not doing anything specific. You're just really good.
Yeah, but it's still boosting up. And I'm sorry, in the game that I'm playing, I'm also running the greater planar ally that our group has. That's a bard. This would be absolutely...
Well, no, but hold on. So like right here. So the next one, Soothe the Beast. So this is going to be, right, using this counts as one of your daily uses of bardic music. So this is, you're doing something specific with your bardic music, whereas I'm looking at Song of the Heart as more of like are you the garage band, or are you... But I'm gonna what?
Enya.
Right. Enya. I was gonna say Metallica or Enya, are you some like actually like successful band? So
what counts as successful nowadays?
My point is, to me, Song of the Heart is like, you're the headlining band Whereas Soothe the Beast is like the actual song that you're singing.
Yeah.
So I can see why it doesn't use a bardic music.
Just quickly, Coco, absolutely hardcore, yes.
All right, Soothe the Beast.
Colin's the man.
Echoing the music of creation, your music has the power to calm animals. You gain an ability similar to the wild empathy ability of a druid or ranger. Your music can improve the attitude of an animal. You make a perform check instead of a diplomacy check and use the result to determine the animal's new attitude. The typical domesticated animal has a starting attitude of indifferent, while wild animals are usually unfriendly. To use this ability, you must be within 30 feet of the animal. The check takes 1 minute, but it might take longer to actually influence the animal. You can also use this ability to influence a magical beast with an intelligence score of 1 or 2, but you take a -4 penalty on the check. Using this ability counts as one of your daily uses of bardic music. All right, I think we're almost done. So let's zip through these.
Spontaneous casting. You can swap a prepared spell on the fly. Prerequisite, cast level 5th. Benefit. You can exchange a spell you have prepared for another spell on your spell list of the same level. Special. Using this ability costs 2 action points.
Okay. Strong Mind. You are unusually hard to affect with psionic powers and mind attacks. You gain a +3 bonus on saving throws against psionic abilities and mind attacks. Psionic abilities include many spell-like abilities of monsters such as Aboleth, Mind Flayers, and Yuan-Ti. Mind attacks include the Mind Flayer's Mind Blast ability, as well as any similar supernatural ability that uses sheer mental force to stun or disable an opponent. The benefit of this feat does not extend to spells, spell-like abilities, or magic items that duplicate psionic abilities. This is an exception to the general rule that magic and psionics are equivalent.
Totem Companion. Instead of an animal companion, you have your totem magical beast as a companion. Prerequisite wild empathy. I believe that's druid. Benefit. When choosing an animal companion, you may choose a magical beast of the same kind as your beast totem. Even though your companion is a magical beast, you can cast spells on it that normally target animals as though it were an animal. Apply the indicated adjustment to the character's level to determine the companion's special powers. Rangers who choose this feat use 1/2 their level to determine what companions they may attract. Blah, blah, blah. So 7th level or higher, Cockatrice, Kensha, Displacer Beast. This is basically a lot of the totem companions that we saw before, but the totem
Actually,
things.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No, it is all of those.
Yeah. So the totem companion has all the normal abilities of a typical creature of its kind, as well as the characteristics of an animal companion determined by your druid or ranger level.
Okay. Undead Empathy. You are adept at communicating with and influencing the undead. You gain a +4 bonus on diplomacy checks to influence the reactions of intelligent undead. I'm like, +4 bonus to diplomacy with a zombie. Okay. Okay. Intelligent. Right. Deathless, vampires, etc.
Yeah.
You can also use diplomacy to influence the actions of mindless undead, though in this case you do not gain the +4 bonus on your check. Generally, mindless undead begin an encounter with a hostile attitude. Diplomacy check sufficient to make them indifferent is usually enough to stave off an attack. If the undead have been specifically commanded to guard something, a diplomacy check sufficient to make them friendly is required to make them back off from combat, and a check sufficient to make them helpful is needed to make them abandon what they are guarding. To influence the behavior of a mindless undead, the character and the undead must be within 30 feet of one another. Generally, influencing an undead in this way takes 1 minute, but as with influencing the living, it might take more or less time.
Okay, that ability, that's Brendan Fraser in The Mummy screaming at the undead guards.
Yes.
Towards the end of the movie. Just,
right. Rah! Oh. Sorry.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. Urban Trap.
Urban tracking. You were right.
No. I had a bad feeling, and it's kind of warranted, but we'll go with it anyway. You can track the location. Urban tracking. You can track the location of missing persons or wanted individuals within communities. Benefit: to find the trail of an individual or to follow it for 1 hour requires a gather information check. You must make another gather information check every hour of the search, as well as each time the trail becomes difficult to follow, such as when it moves to a different area or town. The DC of the check and the number of checks required to track down your quarry depends on the community size and the conditions. And we have a chart of that below. And once again, I need to point out this is DM stuff.
Yeah. Well, again, it's going to be another. So, like, yeah, finish reading this paragraph, but really quick, I'll just say it's investigate and research.
Yeah.
So but it's a feat that should have been a skill.
I absolutely do think it's a good idea for an expansion on an existing skill. I just don't think it's a good feat.
Never right.
If you fail a gather information check, you can retry it after 1 hour of questioning. The DM should secretly roll the number of checks required so that the player doesn't know exactly how long the task will take. A character without this feat can use gather information to find out information about a particular individual, but each check takes 1d4 plus 1 hours and doesn't allow effective trailing. Special: a character with 5 ranks in knowledge local gains a +2 bonus on gather information checks when using this feat. You can cut the time per gather information check in half, but you take a -5 penalty to the check. Okay. Again, that's another part of the skill check stuff that's in Player Handbook too. It's
another feat that should have been a skill.
Yes.
All right. Vermin companion. Instead of an animal companion, you have a vermin creature as a companion. So basically non-good, child of winter, and level 3 druid. When choosing an animal companion, you may choose a vermin instead. Even though your companion is a vermin, you can cast spells on it that normally target animals as though it were an animal. Your companion gains an intelligence score of 1, but does not gain any skills or feats. Apply the indicated adjustment to the character's level to determine the companion's special powers. So, vermin companions: giant ants, monster centipedes, praying mantis, stag beetles, giant bees. A vermin companion has all the normal abilities of a typical creature of its kind, as well as the characteristics of an animal companion determined by your druid level. So, evil companions.
Pretty much. Vermin shape. You can use your wild shape ability to assume vermin forms instead of animal forms. Prerequisite: druid, non-good. Child of winter, basically. You can turn yourself into a small or medium vermin. You gain the ability to take the shape of a large vermin when you reach druid level 8, a tiny vermin at 11th level, and a huge vermin at 15th level. In no case can the vermin forms hit dice exceed your druid level. Special: you can't use wild shape to turn yourself into an animal if you have this feat. So basically, it restricts you to vermin rather than standard animals.
Okay. Wand mastery. Wands are far more potent in your hands. When you use a wand, the DC of saving throws against the wand's effect is increased by 2, and the wand's effective caster level is increased by 2. Hooray! Better wands.
Yeah. Warden Initiate. You have been trained in the ancient druidic traditions of the Wardens of the Wood, a sect dedicated to protecting the Eastern Plain from the great woods of the Eldeen Reaches. Prerequisite: ability to summon nature's ally. Benefit: you gain a +2 deflection bonus to armor class when fighting within the forest. Add climb and jump to your list of druid class skills. In addition, you can cast the following spells as if they were on the druid spell list at the indicated level. So from 1 to 9, we have protection from evil, detect thoughts, displacement, locate creature, hold monster, repulsion, banishment, screen, and hold monster mass.
Cool. Whirling Steel
It's a
Strike.
monster mass.
Whirling Steel Strike. Through monastic weapon training, you have mastered a fighting style that makes use of an unusual monk weapon, the longsword. You can treat a longsword as a special monk weapon, allowing you to perform a fury of blows with it. Whew! We did it. We got through all of the feats.
Yeah, that's great. We've still got 9 pages to go to finish out this chapter.
I know. That's why I already announced we're splitting this in 2, because Kim is glaring at me, and it's not going to end well if I don't feed her soon.
Oh, that's good, because I've got something similar going on here.
So, anyways, no. So overall, I mean, I think they added a lot of cool stuff. Most of the feats are useful. Again, the feats that should have been skills was really annoying to run into those, especially because, like you said, there's so many mechanics written into it that it's just like, dear Lord, this needs to have a book of its own almost.
Yeah. Or even, the DM's rules compendium.
Right? Yeah, an like, right, because they did an Eberron Player's Companion. They could have done an Eberron GM's or Dungeon Master's Compendium.
Yeah. Or just, like what they did with everything else when they decided to compendium everything. Just chuck it in the rules compendium. Not that hard.
Anyway, so real quick, folks, if you are still here and you would like to be eligible for the miniature giveaway, please go ahead and put a 1 in chat so that I can add your name to the wheel. And then we'll arrange for how you can contact me if you are a winner. You're already on the list, Seraphis. Even though you're a co-host, you're still a member, so you're on the list.
Yes, but I'm doing it for Dr. Death, damn it.
There we go. Oh, that's right. Malachi wants in. Anyone else? There's at least 6 of you here. So.
Well, 5, because I'm here too.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Coco.
Okay, going once. Going twice. All right, and ooh. All right, Seraphis, I'm gonna let you split the tie because it's for the Warforged fighter or the Elf fighter. Which one should we give away?
Oh, I think I clicked on the Elf fighter. So.
All right, so you're. Yeah. I guess I should show this off real quick. So this is the elf fighter that we're giving away. She's got her purple hair and her red skirt. So anyhow, all right. Mundo says it's time to roll. Yeah, I don't think anyone else is joining in on this. So stop screen, present, share screen, share screen.
Share screen, share screen.
Yeah. All right. So, ta-da! Hooray! It's Malachi!
Woo!
Yay! All right. So, I already know how to get a hold of Malachi. So, congrats, buddy. Thank you so much. But next week we will be back. We are going to talk we're going to talk the dragon marks and religions of Eberron. And maybe we'll try to get to prestige classes, but I have a feeling that we won't be able to. So, anyways, folks, thanks so much for hanging out with us. I do appreciate it. Seraphis, anything else that you want to talk about, mention before we head out?
I am hungry.
All right. Kim is as well. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Everybody, thanks so much. And we will see you next time.